Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, where we always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, folks, we got to talk about what transpired yesterday, and then, of course, look ahead at tonight's game. But last night, game one of the World Series, we didn't know what to expect. All right, there was a lot of people thinking this is David versus Goliath. This is the big-time juggernaut of the LA Dodgers up against the tiny little baby wee
the small market. Ooh, the small market.
And hey, we were even starting to find ourselves falling into that narrative, thinking, oh, damn, these LA Dodgers are so good.
Yeah.
They're going to win game one because that's just what they do. I am so happy to admit that we are so wrong about all of that. The Toronto Blue Jays put out a spanking on the LA Dodgers yesterday. They really did. They whipped out the magical spanking paddle and just had a way with things with that Dodgers pitching staff, with their bullpen across the board. Everything was good. Flashing over to the box score right now, 11-4. Toronto over the Dodgers. This elite, historically good pitching staff that this Dodgers team has. Well, they gave up 11 runs yesterday, man.
They gave up quite a bit, and for the most part, it did look like it was going to be a very competitive game. Blake Snell was on the bump, but the Blue Jays were working him. Trey Yavage didn't have his stuff. He was giving up a run in the second, a run in the third. They were down 2-0. It felt like they were going to have to scratch and claw for any run, but obviously, as we could see, they absolutely exploded in the sixth inning for 9 runs. We'll talk about that in a little bit, how good that offense has been. But I want to start in the very beginning. The number one matchup in this series, Blake Snell, the Dodgers starting pitching versus the Toronto Blue Jays' ability to put the ball in play and make contact. That was the storyline. Snell coming into this game had a whiff rate around 40%, where the Blue Jays had one of the best contact rates at about 80%. Who was going to win? Well, the Blue Jays absolutely won. Looking at the numbers, within the numbers here in this game, Blake Snell, if you look over Savant, I know it's a little scary for those watching on YouTube right now. There's a lot of numbers. I just want to direct you to this number right down here. Looking at the swings, the swing percentage right now in the whiffs total of the game, only 10 whiffs out of 48 swings. That means they made contact 79% of the time, 21% of the time, the whiff rate, which is right on par for the Blue Jays. So if you want to take anything away from this game, it was that the Blue Jays' approach actually freaking worked. They stayed patient. They were laying off borderline pitches. Snell had some great pitches, dotting the changeup, dotting the fastball up and in on these right-handed hitters. But they were staying patient, and they were attacking their pitches and swinging at ones they wanted to swing at.
Yeah, no, I was actually so just impressed with how they handled Blake Snell. We were a little worried because he doesn't throw a lot of cookies. It doesn't happen, right? There's a lot of pitches there, and he's okay with allowing you to get on base and allowing you to take your walk. And something that Toronto's been so good at is ambushing starting pitchers. But if there's nothing to ambush, well, how is that going to work out, right?
Gotta grind.
Are we going to try to expand the zone and ambush? That's not what happened last night, right? They just were capable of waiting on that pitch, and if they had to take their base and pass the baton, then they were happy to do so, and we saw that, right? Blake Snell walked 3 guys yesterday. He was putting people on base. He gave up 8 hits when it was all said and done, and 5 earned runs cashed. That is the most that he's given up to any team this postseason. That might actually be the most that he's given up in total compared to the remainder of his postseason, because he was not giving up runs in the playoffs up until last night. And this Toronto Blue Jays offense were just capable of grinding, scratching, clawing their way, getting on base, and then finally able to just explode in that 6th inning where honestly, I think, and I know that you think as well, the Dodgers, they made a questionable call to their bullpen.
Very questionable. The game was 2-2, tied up, and Blake Snell leaves the bases loaded with nobody out. And who do they go to? A guy who I literally had to look up mid-game. I'm not kidding, guys. Sheehan. Emmett Sheehan is who they went in this spot. And just to give you guys, I'm not trying to disrespect Emmett Sheehan right here, but just to give you guys a perspective of how this is a bad decision. He hasn't pitched since October 9th, since the Phillies series. Now, you can obviously point to, well, their pitchers dominated the Brewers so much, right? They went 8 innings, 9 innings, 6 innings, in deep into games, that Sheehan is the bottom part of their roster right now, the bottom part of their staff, and who hasn't been performing that good in the postseason. But why, in a situation, I get that it's not even early, it's the 6th inning. Why do you go to a guy who hasn't been playing well, hasn't been pitching, throw him out in a whip, in a situation where you got to put out the fire right now, and he ended up allowing those 3 other earned runs from Blake Snell to score, and then some. He gave up in just 1 out right here. It's just a third of an inning. He gave up 2 hits, 3 earned runs of his own, a walk, and got destroyed. I think Dave Roberts kind of panicked there a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think he should have went to him. They should have went to literally anybody else in that bullpen.
Potentially so, right? I mean, hindsight's always going to be 2020, and I do know that Sheehan had a very good regular season. Like, he was very solid for the Dodgers in the regular season.
That's true. 2.82.
2.82 ERA. So I guess, like, Dave Roberts was kind of just crossing his fingers and hoping it's like, well, we're going to get the regular season guy, not the playoff guy, because walking into yesterday's game, and it was a very small sample size, but walking into yesterday's game, he had a 10 ERA in the playoffs up until this point. There was just a lot of numbers that, when I looked at it immediately, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like the right call. Now, I think in a different world, a different situation, they would actually have went to Alex Vesia in that spot. He is their fireman, their fire extinguisher, as we've kind of been saying recently. But the fact of the matter is, he's not on the roster right now because he's got some family thing that's going on right now. So, I mean, prayers up to him, thoughts to him. Would obviously love to see him playing, but he's got something that he's got to deal with. But that would have been their guy that I think they would have been comfortable going to. And honestly, like, for the Toronto Blue Jays, I know that he's dealing with something right now, but you got to capitalize on the fact that they don't have him on the roster. And they certainly did against Sheehan, and then Bonda, who came in after that,
I know,
and who also wasn't capable of doing a whole lot.
I know. It was a snowball effect for the Blue Jays. It just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. Now, before we get to the Blue Jays offense that was absolutely immaculate last night, let's give some love to Mr. Trey Yavage. He battled. You know what I mean? And this entire postseason, I never want to get on the kid. I never want anyone saying, oh, this guy doesn't have it, he's bad, blah, blah, blah. He's been battling right now. First of all, most pitches this guy's ever thrown, or most innings he's ever thrown in his entire career. Yeah. Right? We're literally one, if you count college, of course. Most he's ever thrown. He's out here in October starting game 1 against the freaking LA Dodgers in the World Series. Like, that's insane.
He's 22, man.
22 years old.
I'd be shitting bricks.
Oh, me too. I'm pissing my pants on the mound before I throw it, right? But so hats off to him. Now, here's what makes him so good and how he grinded right now. Blake Snell had a 47% strike zone rate, which is like, not too bad for him. He actually doesn't throw a hell of a lot of strikes. Most of his strikes actually are out of the zone, right? So I'm talking about zone strike rate. So forget the swings and misses with that. He threw 47 of his pitches in the zone, right? The ones that are actually in the zone. Trey Yavage only threw about 39% of his pitches in the zone, yet he still had a strike rate of over 50%. Why? Because when his stuff was around the zone, he was able to get some swing and misses. And fun fact, he only threw his splitter 10 times last night out of the 80 pitches he'd thrown. He didn't have it. It wasn't close to the zone. It was only at 30% in the zone yesterday. So he made a mid-game adjustment, went to the slider, battled, only gave up 2 earned runs in 4 innings. Pretty damn good for a kid to make that adjustment.
Look, it wasn't sexy, and the box score, when we're being completely honest with ourselves, not the best box score that you'll ever see, right? I mean, 4 innings, gave up 2 earned runs right there, walked a few people, did strike out 5, but 4 hits as well. Like, it wasn't the greatest overall performance, but against that lineup in that moment, game 1 of the World Series, like, you gave the offense a chance to win, and you allowed them to have the capability to come back. There was a couple times in that game, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was inning 2 where the bases were loaded, and there was only 1 out for the LA Dodgers. That could have totally snowballed away. Right? Like, we could have been out of that game in the 2nd inning. And then, who knows what happens, right? Do you still have the same offensive outburst and fight from the Toronto Blue Jays in the 6th inning, right? I don't know. We'll never know, obviously. But he battled through a lot of really tough times right there and just gave the team an opportunity to come back into this thing. So credit where credit is due to Trey Yavage. I mean, that's just a ridiculously big spot for somebody who started in single A, literally half a year ago and is now kind of dicing up the LA Dodgers in game 1 of the World Series.
Just surviving right now. You got to give them a lot of credit, and also give credit to that bullpen. Just a quick note on that. I mean, they came out and they played well.
That was awesome, actually.
Flew Hardy gets the strikeout on Shohei Ohtani yet again. That flu game, kind of reminiscent of that early August game. Gotta love to see it. Dominguez coming out, getting the W, of course, because that's when they blew up in that 6th inning. Fisher, Bassett. Fisher did give up the 2-run bomb to Ohtani, but it's garbage time. It doesn't matter. That's just a stat pattern. And then Bassett and Lauer in, I guess, quote unquote, garbage time, coming out and finishing the job. So hats off to the bullpen. They got it done. They didn't let them in the game too much, but it didn't matter because when you have, which was after that 6th inning, a 9-run lead.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to throw basically anybody out there, even the Brendan Littles of the world, if you wanted to.
We talked about it a little bit already, but let's continue to talk about how good that Toronto Blue Jays offense is, because yesterday was miraculous. Dodgers, best pitching staff, historically speaking, in the postseason for a long period of time. Dropping 11 on them is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Take a look at this. Most games with 10-plus runs in a single postseason in MLB history. You got number 1, the Red Sox. That's in 2007. Guess what? They won the World Series.
Yeah.
Number 2, you got the 2011 Cardinals. They got 4. Tied with them, you got the Toronto Blue Jays. 2025, 4 times they have dropped 10-plus runs. And keeping in mind, folks, this is against the LA Dodgers, incredible, historically good pitching staff. This is against the New York Yankees, who had the Max Frieds and the Rodons and the various others of the world. This is against the Seattle Mariners, who have always, for the entirety of the time that I have been a baseball fan, always had an incredible pitching staff. It's not like we're going up against scrub pitching staffs here.
These are the best of the best.
These
That's
are
what they always
the
say.
best of the best, and they are dropping double digits consistently on them. And I wouldn't be shocked with at least 3 more ball games to play, potentially more, right? But I wouldn't be shocked to see the Toronto Blue Jays at least tie or maybe even surpass those 2007 Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, even the 2011 Cardinals won the World Series too. Like, I mean,
Right.
hell, you kind of forget, like, the recipe for winning a baseball game is scoring a crap load of runs. And like, yeah, I know, like, you got to do this. It's like, you're not counting all the other games you're playing in here, like how many runs you're scoring in the other games that are not 10-plus runs. But my point is, like, you have the ability to throw up this any given night. And against that LA Dodgers pitcher staff, which we were looking at, didn't give up more than 1 run since the Phillies series.
Right, yeah.
Like, literally since multiple weeks ago. So hats off to the Blue Jays offense as a whole. The individual performances, however, are pretty damn good. Addison Barger.
That's insane, dude.
The man who blew the game wide open. He's been getting on a tear. Don't let my man get hot right now. Look at what he's done since we went on the road against Seattle for game 3. This is ludicrous. Batting average of 421, OPS of 144.7. That's insane. Slugging of almost 1,000. He's hit 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. And mind you, this is all after John Schneider moved him down to the 7 spot. I know you want to put your hot hands up there. Honestly, don't move him. This is working way too well.
I think you keep the lineup the same pretty much the entirety of the time. Unless they get cold or it just stops working. Like, the lineup doesn't change from here on out. This is what it is. We like it, and it is just working. Addison Barger also made history last night.
Yes.
First player in MLB history to get a pinch hit grand slam in the World Series, which is just fucking, like, again, miraculous, ludicrous, incredulous, all of the us words at the end there. Like, there's so many different adjectives I could use to describe this team, but frankly, just stunning is what it is, right? Alejandro Kirk, also, you don't want to let this guy get hot, because when he gets cooking, it is absolutely elite, and that's what we're seeing right now. He's batting .348 in the last few games. He's got an OPS over 1. He came in after the game was already over, basically, right? Barger hits his grand slam. We're up 9-2 at that point, and then Alejandro Kirk says, fuck it. I think I want to participate as well. And then just hits a cock rocket out of the ballpark for another 2-run blast right there, making it 11-2 and really putting that thing out of reach.
And again, this sample size is from when they went on the road to Seattle. When their backs were up against the wall, they went and turned on another gear. I'm now looking right now just like at remember this whole stat? Championship win probability?
Right.
The boys are starting to cook with the championship win probability a little bit right here. Even like, dude, look at Addison Barge here.
That's crazy.
He's got a 5.54. Like, I bet if you went and looked at everybody right now, everyone's got a championship win probability.
Well, I would be stunned
over
if anyone's negative, really.
If anyone's
I
negative.
can't really think about anyone being negative right now.
Maybe like a Brandon Little of the world, but that's probably it. But I'm not trying to solo out a dude right now, but everyone's cooking absolutely with gas. Now, another guy last night made his debut in the postseason was Bichette. And he actually showed up. He went 1 for 2 with a single. And that single, mind you, was a 3-0 count changeup. He hit the other way to get the inning going. They didn't score in that inning, but it was a classic Bichette moment. They're like, oh, wow, it looks like he hasn't really missed a day in his life. And then he earned the walk in the 6th inning to get the rally going. Now, he was taken out in the 6th inning, and people might have been thinking, well, that was, oh gosh, is he not looking okay? Obviously, he's not running that well. Apparently, it was all part of the plan to give him only 3 at-bats. That's what John Schneider came out and said. That was kind of the plan going in. Want to see if he can get 3 at-bats against the starter, see how he's feeling, probably a bit cautiously from there. And I agree. I mean, especially when leading off an inning, like I don't want kind of Bichette's knee clogging up the bases.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't matter because we just spanked around and walked around the entire time.
You hit it out of the ballpark, you can run around as slow as you want.
Exactly. He would have walked in anyways on that beautiful Nukas at bat, like amazing. Oh, so we're not even getting credit to Nukas, just a godsend, by the way. Like he would have just had to walk in anyways. But again, I like the decision. And he played some decent second base as well.
I got to come out here and call myself out, right? I was thinking that was a horrendous decision. I thought it was very irresponsible to put somebody who's never played that position before in that spot in Game 1 of the World Series. And I mean, whilst I'm still honestly in disbelief, like I got to give credit to Bichette and honestly John Schneider for having him out there and no issues whatsoever. He made a pretty nice play actually at one time, kind of ranging and then throwing across his body.
Damn.
Like, so he looked like he belonged out there, man. And ultimately that's just what I was worried about, right? If he's going to get in his head or, having never done that spot before. But yeah, credit to Bichette for shutting me the hell up. And also as well, right? Like getting on base a couple times. The bat is still there, even if the legs aren't underneath him. Excellent work.
Yeah, great job, Bichette. I hope to see you there in the 4th spot at second base tonight. Let's go do it. Do it again, man. You look pretty good. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about that game just a little bit. Of course, we're going to be doing our live reaction and play-by-play at 7 o'clock. And at that 7 o'clock time, we're going to be doing a little bit of a pre-game show building up to first pitch. So we'll give you a much more in-depth breakdown of tonight's game. But just looking ahead, you've got Kevin Gausman, and then you've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's been also very good in the postseason. But Gausman's been a stud. Factoring in these offenses and the way they work, what are your thoughts on this game? And then give me your prediction for tonight.
Well, I liked the Gausman start. I thought that we were going to win the Gausman start. I didn't think we were going to win the Yavage start, and they managed to edge out a win yesterday. So I can't really go against Gausman now. I know it's a tough matchup, and let's be very clear, like at any given point, LA could also explode for 10 plus runs. They have that capability, and I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. But I mean, I think that the Toronto Blue Jays have a pretty good chance right now to go up 2-0. It's not guaranteed here. Yamamoto is still very, very good, and I wouldn't be surprised if this series is level. But damn, dude, if we can go up 2-0, I mean, like that's. I don't want to say it's foregone conclusion at that point, but like that's
we've seen the opposite happen.
We saw the opposite happen with Seattle, but that's what you got to do to put the Dodgers on the back foot, because if they level this series here, that's 1-1. Now all that advantage is kind of just gone because now they have home field advantage over the large part of the series, right? That we might not even make it back to Toronto if you let them get this game. So I do think there's a good chance that the Blue Jays win this thing, man.
Look, I said it yesterday. I need to see it to believe it. And I get it. I've been seeing it all year long. I've been seeing this entire postseason before Game 1 about how good this Blue Jays team is and how good they are up against the juggernauts of the world. I saw it yesterday.
Against Blake Snell and the
Against
Dodgers.
Blake Snell, who was immaculate and the Dodgers staff the Dodgers lineup that's full of Hall of Famers. They were incredible. I believe now.
Yeah.
They're going to win tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm changing my prediction to Jays in 7.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at
Let's
right
go.
now as well. You just can't put on a spanking like that, and I just can't stick to my guns anymore. Man.
Everything that we believed about the LA Dodgers is not true.
Yes.
They are not Goliath. Well, guess what? David beat Goliath.
Yeah.
So even if they were, guess who's going to be the favorite to win this series? I'm curious to see what the odds are. They're probably pretty even right now.
Yes.
Give me the Blue Jays. Let's go, baby. We're going to go 2-0 and go into Dodger Stadium feeling pretty damn good.
All right, folks. Well, you guys let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. We are going to be live later this evening at 7 p.m. Biggest live stream ever in Blue Jays Today history yesterday.
Amazing.
Let's follow that up with a big one tonight. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash that subscribe button, that hype button as well if you have the capability to do so. Should thank you to all of our YouTube members. You guys are amazing. $4 a month to become a YouTube member if you'd like to do so. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
Go Jays, go!